That sound lasted less than half a second. A tiny beep, almost nothing. But that beep changed everything. At first, everyone laughed at him. He was just the weird caller. He would call and ask questions that had nothing to do with our service.
Can I order a pizza from you?
But one day, the joke started sounding like a trap.
Why do you keep calling?
I work in a call center where every second is tracked. Average handling time, customer satisfaction, escalations, every call matters. So when the same man kept calling with nonsense questions, people treated it like entertainment.
My lights keep turning on and off. Can you fix that?
Someone even gave him a nickname.
The pizza guy is back!
He called us almost every week. Sometimes it was about pizza deliveries, other times electricity bills. Occasionally, random services that had absolutely nothing to do with our company. At first, everyone thought it was funny. Just another strange customer looking for attention. The kind of caller every contact center gets sooner or later. But there was something different about him. Something I couldn't quite explain. You see, he never sounded confused, never frustrated, never like someone who had dialed the wrong number. His voice was always calm, controlled, almost rehearsed, as if every question had been carefully planned before he picked up the phone. Back then, I didn't understand what he was doing. I thought he was wasting our time. Now I know the truth. He wasn't looking for answers. He was collecting something. And the most disturbing part? We were handing it to him willingly, for free, week after week, call after call. None of us realized that every conversation was helping him build something far more dangerous than we could imagine. Then one afternoon, everything changed. His call landed directly in my queue. The same customer, the same calm voice, the same strange pauses between sentences, and the same uncomfortable feeling that instantly settled in my stomach. I greeted him the way I greeted every customer, professional, friendly, completely unaware that this conversation was about to expose a scam worth millions of dollars. At first, nothing seemed unusual. He asked a few harmless questions. I opened his profile, typed notes, followed the standard procedure. Then I heard it. A tiny sound inside my headset. A single beep. Short, sharp, easy to miss. Most people probably wouldn't have noticed it. But I had heard that exact sound before, and the moment it reached my ears, every alarm bell in my head started ringing, because it sounded exactly like a recording notification. Suddenly, the entire atmosphere of the call changed. The questions didn't seem random anymore. The pauses felt intentional. Even his tone sounded different. I stopped typing, leaned closer to my monitor, and asked the question that changed everything. "Sir, are you recording this call?" The response wasn't immediate. In fact, there wasn't a response at all. For several long seconds, the line went completely silent. No laughter, no denial, no explanation, nothing. Just silence. The kind of silence that makes your imagination start filling in the blanks. Then, when he finally spoke again, his voice had changed. The confidence was gone. The calmness had disappeared. For the first time since I'd spoken to him, he sounded nervous, like someone who had just been caught doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing. He stumbled over his words, tried to change the subject, avoided the question completely. And then, without warning, he hung up. Just like that, the line went dead. I sat there staring at my screen. Part of me wanted to believe I was overthinking it. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe I was imagining connections that weren't there. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. People don't react like that without a reason. And whatever reason he had, I was about to find out. The next day, he called again, and this time, he wasn't joking. He didn't ask about pizza. He didn't ask about electricity. He asked for a supervisor. I opened his customer profile, expecting to find a complaint, an escalation, anything serious. But there was nothing. No open case, no unresolved issue, no reason to demand a manager. So I asked him politely what the call was about. His answer made the room feel colder. He said, "That doesn't concern you. I will tell him and only him." That was when I heard it again, the same tiny beep. This time, I was sure. He was recording the call. I looked around the call center. Everyone else was working, laughing, answering calls like nothing was happening. But I felt like I was the only person in the room who could hear the danger. I asked my supervisor to take the call. I told him something felt off. He barely looked at me. He just said he was busy and would call the customer back later. So I returned to the customer and repeated exactly what my supervisor told me. "My supervisor will call you back this afternoon." The customer paused. Then he said, "We'll see. If he doesn't call me by this afternoon, I'll call again." The way he said it didn't sound like a request. It sounded like a warning. When the call ended, I removed my headset and just sat there. I wasn't scared exactly. I was angry, confused, and more curious than I wanted to admit. During my break, I took out my phone and searched one question. Why would a customer record a call center conversation? At first, the answers were normal. Complaints, legal proof, bad service, refund disputes. But then I changed the question. I typed, why would the same person record multiple employees' voices every time he calls? That was when the answer appeared, and I felt my stomach drop. Voice cloning. The AI tool said repeated recordings could be used to capture voice samples and imitate employees. At first, I didn't want to believe it. It sounded too extreme, too paranoid. But then I remembered the old complaints. Customers had been calling for weeks, saying someone from our company sold them extra insurance packages. They said the agent sounded real, professional, like someone from our own call center. But whenever we checked the system, there was nothing. No sale, no activation, no contract, no official call from our side. At the time, everyone treated those complaints like misunderstandings. But now, those complaints started connecting in my head like pieces of a puzzle. The weird caller wasn't wasting our time. He was training something. He was collecting our voices, our phrases, our tone, our way of speaking to customers. Then he was using those voices to call real customers and sell fake insurance packages. Some of those packages cost $1,000, and the money wasn't going to our company. It was going straight to him. I went to my supervisor again and told him everything. He laughed. Not a nervous laugh, a mocking laugh. He told me I was believing too much in AI and turning a stupid customer into a movie villain. My colleagues heard about it, and they laughed too. One of them said, "So now the pizza guy is an international hacker?" That hurt more than I expected. Because I wasn't trying to be dramatic. I was trying to stop something before it became too big to control. That night, I went home and opened my laptop. I started reading every article, every warning, every case study I could find about AI voice scams. The more I read, the more terrifying it became. Scammers didn't need a full conversation anymore. Sometimes, a few clean voice samples were enough. They could clone a voice, create fake scripts, and make victims believe they were speaking to a real employee. That was when I stopped thinking this was just a theory. I opened the old complaint records and started comparing them one by one. Different customers, different dates, different stories, but the same pattern kept appearing. A customer received a call. Someone offered an expensive package. The customer paid. Nothing was activated. Then I found the detail that changed everything. Several victims had received the scam call from the same phone number. I checked it again, then again. I thought I had made a mistake, but I hadn't. The number connected to the scam complaints was the same number as the weird caller, the same man everyone had laughed at, the same man who asked for pizza, electricity, and nonsense services, the same man who kept recording our voices. Suddenly, the jokes weren't funny anymore. The next morning, I didn't go to my supervisor. I printed everything: call notes, complaint patterns, dates, numbers, customer statements. Then I walked straight to the CEO's office. My hands were shaking when I placed the papers on his desk. I told him, "If I'm wrong, I'll apologize. But if I'm right, we are being robbed." At first, he looked skeptical. Then he started reading. Page after page, his expression changed. The room went quiet. Then he picked up the phone and called compliance. For the first time since this started, someone actually listened. The company opened an internal investigation that same day. They reviewed the complaints, they traced the payments, they checked the call records, and they contacted the affected customers. Then the police got involved. They connected the scam calls to one number, his number, and when they found him, he was doing it again. He was on the phone with another customer, trying to sell a fake insurance package for $1,000. But this time, the call didn't end with another victim. It ended with police at his door. They found scripts, call lists, payment accounts, and audio samples from our call center. Our voices, saved as files, organized like tools. He had turned our customer service voices into weapons. For a moment, I thought it was over. But then came the twist none of us expected. During questioning, he admitted he wasn't working alone. He had someone inside the call center helping him. Someone who knew which complaints to ignore. Someone who knew when supervisors were busy. Someone who could keep the whole thing quiet. I didn't want to believe the name when I heard it. It was my supervisor. The same supervisor who laughed at me. The same man who told me I was exaggerating. The same man who refused to take the call when I begged him to listen. By the time police went looking for him, he was already trying to run. They caught him at the airport, minutes before he disappeared. And that was when everyone finally understood what one tiny beep had exposed. After that, the company contacted the victims and helped police continue the investigation. Some customers sent emails thanking us for finally finding the truth. But I knew how close we came to missing it completely. If I had ignored that beep, the scam might have continued for months, maybe years. The company said my discovery saved them millions in losses, lawsuits, and destroyed trust. A few weeks later, the CEO called me into his office again. He thanked me for doing what others refused to do. Then he promoted me to supervisor. But I never forgot what that experience taught me. Sometimes danger doesn't arrive screaming. Sometimes it arrives as a joke, a strange caller, a stupid question, a room full of people laughing. And sometimes the person everyone mocks is the only one paying attention. Because in a world where voices can be copied, trust can be stolen in seconds. And the smallest sound in a headset, a tiny beep, can expose $1 million scam.
You've reached the end. That means you like crime stories. So don't miss the story of the man who has been avoiding a call for so long that he risked his career.
I already told you, sir. There is no thing I can do. Stop wasting my time.